What's going on, everyone? I got a bit of a drag race challenge video for you today. I tested 6 bikes in an 1/8 mile sprint, set up a course and timed it, see who's the fastest, because I kind of want to see how this bike was going to do. This is the Wired Predator bike, which has over 6,000 watts. So I want to know, was this going to just annihilate the competition, or would it actually be closer than I was thinking? And hang on a sec, you're like, wait a minute, I've seen your Predator videos. You have a green Predator. Why is this thing blue? Well, Wired followed up and sent me an actual production model, same that the customers received. So this is a production model Predator, swapped it out. So now we got a blue one, it's got the fender on it and a couple other little knickknacks that, the prototypes are always kind of a little bit nicked up and dinged up. And this one's pretty much perfect. So that's why it changed color and why it's blue now. But how does the 6,000 watt bike fare in an 1/8 mile drag race against some pretty stiff competition in this garage? I've got some good all-wheel drive bikes in here. The 6 I tested were a Freesky Swift Horse. Now that's just a single 1,000 watt motor, kind of a baseline test to see how it does against, kind of an everyday e-bike, I'll say. We also tested a Wired Freedom, which is a 1,500 watt rear hub motor. We did an Aniioki A8 all-wheel drive. That's dual 1,000 watt motors. A Wired cruiser bike with my Citizen Performance front motor kit on it. So DIY all-wheel drive. The CitizenCycle 4.0, another DIY all-wheel drive with dual 750 motors. And then, of course, the Predator. And the results are in. It might not have gone how you're expecting it to. So let me show you. All right, here's the first one we're going to test. This is the CitizenCycle 4.0, the very first all-wheel drive e-bike that I ever built. So this is a DIY all-wheel drive e-bike. And it's pretty quick. It's deceptively quick, actually. It doesn't have big stats. I mean, it's 52 volt batteries, it's 750 watt motors, 35 amp controllers. So the numbers aren't shockingly big, but I gotta tell you, this thing is quick. I don't think that this is gonna be last place. It's gonna be one of the quicker bikes. What makes it so quick are the motors. Yeah, they're 750 motors, but they're 48 volt motors. I'm overvolting them, running 52 volts on them. So that makes them really torquey. It's got really strong pull off the line. And then I got 35 amp controllers, but I shunt modded them. So they're running more power than 35 amps. So I've got those two factors. And then also the tires. It's basically got racing slicks on it. There's no knobbiness to the tires at all. They're just street slicks. So they grip a little bit better than some of the knobbier tires. And those combination of factors just make this thing super strong off the line. Trust me, you're gonna see. It's surprisingly quick. So let's get up here, get lined up, and run a baseline 1/8 mile here, and this will be the one to beat, I guess. All right, we got the 1/8 mile launch here. Here we go. Citizen bike, 3, 2, 1, go. Decent amount of spin off the line, but up and running good. We hit 34, 35, and it's holding about 35 mile an hour. And finish. Pretty good run. Pretty good baseline run. Next up, we got the Freesky Swift Horse. Before I start pulling out some of the dual motor big guns, I want to give this bike a try. It's got a single 1,000 watt rear hub motor. It's pretty peppy, and it's got a decent top speed. On a long straight stretch, I've had this thing hit 37, 38 miles an hour. So I kind of want to throw it in here just for comparison to see what you can get with just a single 1,000 watt motor. 48 volt battery pack on this, and this is the cheapest in the bunch by far. I mean, this is like 1,500 bucks. I think 14.99 right now. So definitely don't expect this to be the fastest one, but I think it's going to be a good comparison to have in there to show you, some decent power and speed you can get at a pretty reasonable price. All right, Freesky Swift Horse. Probably more what your average everyday e-biker is going to buy. Let's see how it compares. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. I mean, that's a pretty decent pull for a single motor off the line. It's not earth-shattering, but much slower build than the dual motors, which is what I expect. We hit 30, 31, 32, 33 at the finish line there. Not bad. Not bad for 1,500 bucks. It'll be interesting to see where it falls time-wise, how far off it is. It needs a long running room. You need like a half a mile to get this thing up to that, 37, 38 mile an hour speed. You need a lot of room to run, but it'll get there eventually. All right, next up, another dual motor e-bike, dual 1,000-watt motors in this Aniioki A8 all-wheel drive. 52-volt battery, 52-volt, 60 amp hour, absolutely huge battery. I'm not sure what the controllers are in it, but it's got a good launch off the line. Decently impressive all-wheel drive, which I'm in rear wheel now. I need to switch that to all-wheel. But this is going to have a great time. This is going to be a really good time in this 8th mile because the launch on this is very nice. It's powerful, and you don't get like excessive wheel spin on it. There's some, but it's not an absurd amount. So it's got to pull off the line really well. It does have a good top speed, but it takes a while to get to top speed. You need some running room to get this thing up over 40. It will go over 40, but you need a lot of space to get there. But I don't know. It's going to be close between this and the Citizen bike, I think. I don't know. I think I might still give it to Citizen bike. It's just got a stronger pull all the way through. Even though it's this higher top speed, we'll never get to top speed. So, all right, Aniioki, show me what you got. All right, the Aniioki A8. Let's see what it's got. 3, 2, 1, go. Just a touch of wheel spin. Nice strong pull. Building nicely. 30 miles an hour. 32, 33. That's a little fast, I think, but 35. And coming through the finish, it's reading 37. Probably closer to 35. I think it's a few mile an hour off, but really strong. Great pull. Good. I mean, this is a strong bike. The Aniioki is definitely strong. It's got some good things about it and some bad. It's got pretty good brakes. It's got huge battery capacity. It's got strong pull off the line, and it's got good top speed. The front forks, well, let's be honest, they're pretty bad. There's no rebound adjustment to them, and they rebound really hard. So the forks are my least favorite part on it, but it does have some good redeeming qualities. All right, next up, we're going to try another single motor e-bike. This is a wired Freedom, and it's pretty much stock. The only change I made to this bike was I put smaller wheels and tires on it. I put 24-inch wheels on it. It comes with 26. I swapped them out for 24-inch. Did a video on that if you're curious. And honestly, it makes it feel a little bit more torquey off the line. This bike is pretty zippy off the line. Shockingly so. I mean, it keeps up with most dual motor bikes off the line. So it's gonna fare pretty well in this 8th mile, I think. Rear hub motor, 1,500 watt, peaks like 3,000 something, I think. 60-volt battery system. I do only have one of the batteries in. I took the rear one out to kind of save some weight. I usually ride it like this anyway. So let's go run her an 8th mile and see how she does. All right, we got the stock wired Freedom with the 24-inch wheels on it. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Nice pull. God, really strong pull for a single motor. Climbing strong up to 32, 34, 35, 37, 39. Coming through the finish at 41.5 miles per hour. Nice strong pull. This thing is quick. Love it. I mean, bang for your buck, man. All right, now we're getting into some real heavy hitters. Next up, this is a wired cruiser bike that I have added my Citizen front motor kit to. So this is another DIY special here, the Citizen Performance front motor kit on a wired cruiser, which is strong already. I mean, you're running a 60-volt battery, a 45-amp controller, and this rear hub motor. It's a 1,500 watt motor, but it peaks way higher. It peaks like 3,000 watts or something crazy. And then my motor is running a 45-amp controller as well, and it's a 52-volt 750 motor. This is going to start, I think we're really going to start see bikes pulling away at this point. So let's get this thing powered up. Power on wired. There we go. Power on the Citizen portion of it. We got dual screens here. So this runs the front motor. I did go in, and this has the benefit of having the separate systems. You know, the front wheel is its own throttle over here in its own system. So I went in and I programmed the front wheel down just a touch. I put a slow start on it so that I get less wheel spin. You can do that when they're separate systems, right? So now, hopefully when I do the launch, it won't have, 25 feet of wheel spin. It'll be a more gradual launch. It'll hook better. It'll be faster, right? Faster off the line, faster in the 8th mile. Let's go find out. This one, I feel is going to be faster than anything else we've tried so far. It's only probably going to be defeated by the Predator. but the wheels, or excuse me, the tires are kind of another factor. They're knobby tires, the Kenda Crusades, so they're not going to get great traction. It's probably going to get a little spin still, but only one way to find out. Let's go see. All right, we got another homemade all-wheel drive here, the Wired Cruiser with the Citizen kit on the front. Here we go. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, not much wheel spin, just a wicked strong pull. Love it. Already at 33, I mean, 35, 38, up to near 40, going through the finish line at like 41. Wow. Yeah, that definitely crushed everything else we've tried so far. You can just feel it. That was a really great launch. Having that slow start setting, you know, toning down just a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, time for the main event of the afternoon. Fighting out of the blue corner, weighing in at 123 ready pounds, fighting out of Chicago, Illinois. This is the Wired Predator bike, and it's got some pretty astronomical specs. 1,000-watt motor in the front, 1,500 watt motor in the back. Peaks way higher than that, like 3,500 watts, because you got a 50 amp controller running the rear motor, a 40 amp, I believe, running the front, 60 volt, dual 60 volt battery system. This thing lays down over 6,000 watts. It's an animal. There's nothing else like it on the market right now. You can't really compare it to anything. Let me go show you what this thing is capable of. I've yet to find a way to like retain full power on it, yet tone down the front wheel spin. You just kind of have to deal with the front wheel spin if you want full blast power. You can easily like tame it down and tune it down if you want and make it very rideable, but I don't want that. I want it to be crazy fast, so I've got it cranked up to the max, and I think I'm just going to try to like ease into the throttle maybe to minimize the wheel spin. I may run this one a couple times just to see which way it's the quickest off the line. I mean, if you hit the throttle full blast, you will literally do a 30 to 40 foot long burnout. That's its problem. The negative it has is it can't put the power to the ground. There's just so much front wheel spin on it. I've tried the slow start setting, but that doesn't really tame down the front wheel. It seems to just kind of like delay the throttle on the slow start. So we're gonna try to I mean, you can modulate throttle. I'm doing it right now. So I think I might just try to ease into it to show you what it's got. We'll see. We're gonna run this one, I think, a couple times. All right, I think the first run that we do, we're just gonna hit the throttle full blast and just let it do its, 40 foot rolling burnout. We're at 97% battery, so we are full charge basically. Wait for traffic to clear. All right, here we go. Let's get up into our spot. Are we ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Just ride the burnout. There we go. Now we're pulling strong. There's 37, 39, 40 already. 42. Coming up on our finish line, crossing through at 44 mile an hour. That was a burnout, but not like a really, really ridiculous burnout. It kind of did a little hop. I've seen much longer, worse burnouts than that one. But let's go try to ease into it a little bit and see if that helps any. What do you guys think? You want to see them make more of this bike? The 100 sold out in like less than a month. Maybe, I think they should make more, honestly, because this thing's so much fun. All right, we're gonna try to ease into the, you can see my burnout there. It's only probably 25, 30 foot long, I guess. All right, let's roll into it. Ready? 3, 2, 1, gradual. Still a lot of spin, man. Whew. The watts are showing 5,900, 6,200. We're up to full speed again already. 44 through the finish again. It doesn't take long to get this thing to top speed. I mean, 1/8 of a mile and you are at 44 miles an hour. 660 feet to get to full speed. All right, so here's another crazy thought. So what if we start out in rear wheel drive and then I switch to all wheel drive on the fly after we get going a little bit? Would that help? I don't know. Let's go try that. And I'm gonna take off one of my gloves so I have the finger dexterity to put this switch into the center position on the fly. All right, so we're in rear wheel mode now. We're gonna gun the throttle. After we get moving, we'll switch to all wheel. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1, go. We're moving, and now all wheel. That was pretty good. There wasn't much burnout at all there. Up the top speed, through the finish line, 43 that time. And yeah, it is switch on the fly. I mean, you can, as you saw there, you don't have to like reset anything. It just goes right into all-wheel drive as soon as that switch is thrown. We're gonna roll at, I'm at 12 miles an hour, 13, 14, 13, and then hit the throttle. Front tire spins and takes off like crazy. Oh, gonna keep up with this truck. I haven't really yet found a way to eliminate that front wheel spinning completely. I hope if they do another batch of these, I hope they allow you to program the front wheel separately from the back. I did do a video showing you how to tame this down. You don't have to drive it like this. I just maxed it out for these, you know, 1/8 mile runs. You don't have to drive it like this. You can set it up where there's, you know, pretty much no wheel spin at all. You can make it a 750 watt e-bike. I mean, that's how it arrives to you, programmed at 750 watts, 20 mile an hour. So you can really tone it down, or you can really juice it up like I got it right now. All right, we could try one more full throttle burnout type run, see how we do. 3, 2, 1, go. Lots and lots of spin, but we're off and running now. It's so strong in the middle. Up to 42. Coming through the finish, 43.3. I don't know which way was the fastest. I don't know which way was the fastest, but I know this bike was probably the fastest, that's for sure. All right, well, did that go how you thought it was gonna go? I mean, for the most part, the bikes landed where I thought they were gonna land. There was a couple of surprises though. I did not think that white wired Freedom with the 24-inch wheels, I did not think it would be that fast. That thing is quick. It pops off the line. Maybe those 24-inch wheels do give it a little bit more torque. I mean, they certainly didn't hurt. And the other factor, I think, is just the weight. So I only had one battery in that white wired Freedom. So it was probably clocking in around maybe 95 pounds. Whereas the Aniioki bike, I mean, that bike weighs 130 pounds. So now you're talking about bikes that have similar power output, but one weighs 35 pounds less. That's a big difference. So I think that's kind of why that white wired was so quick. And the second surprise for me was that this Predator barely eked out the win. I mean, yes, it had multiple runs that were faster than all the rest. So it was the fastest through 1/8 mile, but not by much. It only beat that wired cruiser by like 0.4 seconds. So yeah, it was the fastest. I thought it would be further ahead. I thought it would pull more ahead. It's just, the problem is this bike it struggles to put the power to the pavement. When you've got the power cranked way up, you get so much wheel spin, it can't put its power to the pavement, even though it's got way more power than anything else. That's what gave that wired cruiser with the motor kit on the front, gave it the edge. You know, I was able to tune down the front motor to eliminate wheel spin, and it just launched like crazy and gave it a great time. So 1/8 mile and up, yes, the Predator I think is gonna take it. Where you feel the power the most on the Predator is when you're rolling at like 20 miles an hour and then you crank the throttle and it just feels like passing gear in a car. You hit that throttle and it just takes off, it surges. That's fun. I like that. I don't have any other bikes that do that, you know, you hit the throttle from a roll at like 20, 25 and you just feel it surge. That's where the 6000, you really feel it because it's got the grip to go at that point. It's like a passing gear. It just feels like it just drops a gear and takes off. But in a short little race, like a little 1/8 mile drag race, it struggles to put the power to the pavement. It's a highly programmable bike. You can really down tune the power and you can make it very rideable with 0 wheel spin. I did a whole video on that. You can really fine tune it, but what you can't do is you can't crank the back wheel up and the front wheel down. You can't independently tune both motors. So in a short little drag race like that, you know, there's a lot of wheel spin when you got the power tuned way up because you got both wheels tuned way up. So maybe in the future, if they make any more of these, I hope they do. If they make more, maybe they'll put in like a launch control or something where you can kind of down tune the front wheel to get less wheel spin. I don't know. I doubt that many people are really doing this with these bikes. I just do this for fun. It's fun to do on a nice brisk fall day. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll put links to all the bikes below if you're curious what these were. And yeah, that's all I got for you today. Hope you had as much fun as I did. Check you out in the next one.